Well, he was a pilot when he was 18. He met Marshal Zhukov when he was 19, and he still goes for skiing when he is 76. And moreover,
at a snowboard.
I wish I would have at least a half of his energy when I will be 50. Okay, then I'll start. So, achieving environmental sustainable prosperity. Well, I'm not sure I'll be able to answer all of your questions, but still, I promise I'll pass all these questions to the author of this paper, and when you leave, if you leave your email, you can answer them. So, okay. Achieving environmentally sustainable prosperity. So, some words about the contribution of this paper. Well, this paper identifies how to efficiently achieve a politically attractive basis for environmental sustainable prosperity without population growth. This creates a reinforcing incentive to terminate population growth for better sustainability. This objective is really incompatible with the traditional economic policies based on the environmentally exploitive population growth and policies of full employment, increasing production, consumption and depletion of non-renewable resources. So what is the assumed need for the contribution of this paper? The human impact on the global environment is destroying the variety of species on the planet, and it could also endanger the viability of Homo sapiens itself. Today there is an immediate need to more efficiently distributing prosperity in 20 advanced industrialized societies that have declining populations with citizens living longer without productive employment. Well, the United Nations expects the spread of the declining populations to increase so as to stabilize the global growth within 22nd century. So what are the associated global problems? The people are living longer in retirement with income-dependent citizens increasing by 50% in some countries. The personal tax base is declining proportionally. The United Nations estimates total global population by 2075. And growth from migration is also reducing globally. And the deadweight cost of income transfer through taxes and welfare is becoming unsustainable. So, what is the orthodox policy for all the issues? As it was noted by Redaway, a declining population reduces demand for goods and services as well as for new and replacement investment. For this reason, unemployment can be expected to increase just because the population declines. Redaway proposed that the state become responsible for providing unemployment income. However, since his book was written about 70 years ago, the problem of citizens living longer, well, past their retirement age is not making impact. So, and what is the problem? There is no real limit to increasing the dependency. Because according to the United Nations, life expectancy is projected to increase steadily in all countries after 2050. And no limits are set on the increase of life expectancy. The United Nations report went on to state that the world dependency ratio rises from 0.7 in the year 2000 to 1.1 in the 24th century, implying that by the time there will be more than one dependent per person of working age, with working age being defined as being between 15 and 60. There are also some cost dependency that is also increasing steadily. The quality of life continues to decrease with age as reported by Milne. Milne found that there was no change in the rate of aging in a Swedish study that went back to 1751. This means that as populations increase, their life expectancy and the need for income support for medical care and the income support will also escalate. So, the United Nations identified a short-term solution for the problem for some nations through migration. But as a declining birth rate spreads to more nations, this option may soon also diminish. The culture of the countries that are expected to maintain population growth by the year 2000 to the 22nd century might give rise to inhibitions in seeking immigrants from them. Just 3 countries, they are Niger, Uganda and Yemen, are expected to account for over half of the positive contribution to population growth at that time. So, what is the strategy of the contribution of this paper? The objective becomes achievable by all citizens obtaining a living income through owning income-producing assets. Orthodox economies do not consider this option as a part of their discipline. In this way, the need for taxes to fund welfare, pensions, and the associated deadweight cost of government transfers are reduced to increase economic efficiency. So, it is obvious that a new type of ecological capitalism is required because the existing rules of owning land, buildings, corporations, and money are inefficient, inequitable, and so unsustainable. And there are 3 main reasons for that. They are: so the corporate capitalist can get overpaid with profits in excess of the incentive to motivate them to invest. The second one is that the owners of land can obtain windfall profits from investment made by others in surveying their own land. And the third one is that the owners of money can extract values from others in the form of interest without adding any real value to the society. So, there is a concept of a cost-carrying neutral money. Proudhon in 1840 argued against usury that allowed the holders of money to get richer without making any contributions to society, from what his former associate Karl Marx described as synthetic values rather than factual surplus values extracted from workers. Gesell in 1919 was inspired by Proudhon to propose that money should depreciate like life-supporting commodities by the introducing of a usage fee. Privately issued credit notes called Woollahra were introduced into Germany during the 1920s, requiring a stamp of 1% of their value to be affixed each month. The word Woollahra was created by combining the German words for goods and currency. I'm not sure, my German is really poor, but I think it's true. So Sue described it as neutral money, as it created a more level playing field between investing money or other assets. So what about the ecological currencies? So Keynes in 1936 in his magnus opus described Gesell as an unduly neglected profit. Gesell proposed that money should incur a cost of at least 0.1% of its face value per week, that is equivalent to 5.4 per year. Keynes in 1936 thought that this would be too high in existing condition, but the correct figure, which would have to be changed from time to time, could only be reached by trial and error. Even with the cost 20 times greater than 2% per week, as widely accepted, the script would be more attractive than modern credit cards that charge up to 2% or more per every transaction. So many versions of cost-carrying money were redeemable into goods or services to establish a unit of value independently of fiat money. So money redeemable into services of nature, like, for example, the renewable energy that also have limited life, like all life forms, is described by this also, the Shann Turnbull, as ecological. So, some examples of those limited life self-financing money. So, locally issued limited life cost-carrying money spread rapidly through Europe and the US during the Great Depression between 1931 and 1933. Various forms were issued by merchants and local governments